Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit Britain. Now, I'm sure I've used this one before. The motto of Brexit Britain is do as I say and not as I do. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me, and a special thank you to everybody who's signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So today I'm going to start off with, because I spoke a little bit about Majid Nawaz yesterday, right? And I was reading some of his tweets after his ass had been fired, right? Has been told to leave the building, right? With security carrying a cardboard box behind his ass, right? So I was reading some, and he's really pissed, because the way how LBC put it across as if to say it was mutual, right? Because I know his contract was up until like I think April 2022, and LBC was saying no, you need to leave with immediate effect, and that's how Majid put it. They were saying, well, no, that's not what happened. My ass was fired. I was fired. I was told to get the hell out of there. Fired. Right. So yeah, so this is so his tweets have just been seriously. His tweets have just been something else. But then. You know how the right wingers are. The first thing they do is, oh no, that was my only source of income. Please, working class people, please send me your money. Just like Donald Trump. Do you know what I mean? Working class people sending someone like Donald Trump, a billionaire, their money. They haven't got the money to send to these people. Just like, right? People have, working class people don't have the money to send to Majid. The fuck they send them their money for? The hell are they getting? Do you know what I mean? Seriously. Right? That is typical from the right wing. That's the first thing they always come with. Yeah, I need your money. Like, you look at this woman, Marjorie Taylor Greene in America or whatever. First thing she does, yeah, I need your money. Matt Gates is another one in America, paedophile, right? And he's just like millionaire, right? Millionaire, rich. Send me your money. Want to sue somebody? Send me your money. And the stupid ass poor and working classes, right? It's like you Brexit voters, right? Any of yous, right, that paid money to the Brexit party or anything like that for support, you stupid. You have no sense. You're thick, right? And your parents probably should have drowned you at birth because you're an idiot. Right? But so yeah, so imagine now, right? You see, what I'll tell you about him, right? Is because I used to phone LBC when he was on there quite a lot. Right, and I would just cuss him off all the time. Do you know what I mean? Because I never ever liked the way how he used to go on. Do you know what I mean? He would basically brand all men from Pakistan as some type of sexual predators all the time. Do you know what I mean? And he was constantly doing it. Do you know what I mean? And he was going with the with the media line that is, oh, the police never went for these people because they're Asian. I don't know where the fuck they come from, right? If they think that the police didn't go for these guys because they're Asian, right? Then you know something, right? Then you have no fucking sense. And I'll tell you this, right? Someone, right, should perhaps, the police officers, that have beaten the hell out of me. They haven't had that memo to say, you know what, we shouldn't do this because he's a black guy and it might go wrong for us. Right? Maybe at the 5th or the 6th kick, right, to the back, right? Maybe they was thinking that then, but I don't think so. Right? The reason why, right, the police didn't go for them. The police didn't go for them in the first place, right, is because the police believed that a jury, right, would look at the girls as little slags, right, and it would be hard to get a conviction. So they had to. So what they done, right? What they done was they had to set the mood in the country. Right, for to go for the prosecution, but they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do that. Right? If you're a man and you're sleeping with a girl who's underage, then you're just a damn criminal. It don't matter what colour you are, you're just a fucking criminal. That's it. right? You know, if you're sleeping with a girl who's like, you know, who's prepubescent, that's like 12 years old or whatever, then you're a goddamn paedophile, right? That's it. Right? You don't need to. You didn't need to set a massive racist mood in the country to take them men down. You didn't need to do that. Do you know what I mean? Because right, it's a natural criminal offence anyway. Right? You know, even if the girl is 14 or 15 and she says to you, "Yeah, don't worry, I'm good. Do you know what I mean? It don't matter. It's a natural criminal offence. It's naturally rape." Right. So the police, they didn't need to settle. They didn't need to do. You know, the police. Well, it's mainly the media. They didn't need to go through, right, all of the rape. You know, to bring it to light. They didn't need to do all the racism shit to bring it to light. But they thought that they would. And Majid Nawaz is one who's heavily pushing that. Do you know what I mean? And you know, and coming from a person who comes from that, you know, from there. I know he's born in Southend, but you know, his family hail from there. Right, so for him to be talking in that way, right, you know, as I said, he's just dancing because he's a coonbury. So that's what he is. He's just dancing, right? And you see, one argument that me and him had on the radio, yeah, because I tell you what he used to do, what he does, yeah, is you'll phone up, right? So you know roughly what you want to speak about. But I clocked this from him from a long time. From long time I clocked this from him. So what he does, right, is he'll listen to you for a minute or so, right, and then he'll stop you in the tracks and he'll ask you a question, right, based on what he, right, asked in the question that he asked in the first place, right, and also based on the, you know, your answers that, right. So what he does, right, is he tries to break your concentration. Right, when you're speaking, because most people are nervous when they're on the radio, right? So he tries to break a conversation. He tries to break, right? So, and then that way he can literally get you to say the type of stuff that he wants you to say, right? So if you know that that's what he's going to do to you, right? Then obviously you're already aware of that, so you can compensate for it. Right. So we were speaking about, I think we were speaking about Israel and Palestine. Right. So he broke that down. So he's gone to me. So he stopped me. So he's gone to me. Do you think that Israel have the right to exist then? I said to him, that's a ridiculously stupid question. Of course Israel have the right to exist. Right. They just don't have the right to exterminate the Palestinians. But they have the right to exist. It's just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? And then, right, so then, you know, I can't remember what else was said in the conversation, but then so the argument carried on now, right? So then, right, after I put the phone down, after we finished our conversation, yeah, Maureen Lipman come on the phone. And Maureen Lipman found it necessary to call me anti-Semitic. And I was like, well, I was just speaking about Israel's treatment of the Palestinians. I never said anything about Jewish people. All I was speaking about was Israel, right, and their treatment of the Palestinians, right. And let me tell you, right, the only reason I'm in full support of the Palestinians, right, is because Israel wield the bigger stick. Right? You know, it's the David and Goliath situation. Right? Now, you're only going to support Goliath if you're a giant, surely. Right? You know, everybody else is going to support David. Right? This little person trying to take on a giant. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on in Palestine. Right? You know, so that's my main, you know, if it was a civil war, right, I'd have no problem with it. Because, you know, I have no problem with, if white people want to kill white people, or Asian people want to kill Asian people, or Arabs want to kill Arabs, then you know what, you guys go ahead, you carry on, right? And when you're finished your nonsense, right, then come back into the real world, okay? But once you start crossing those races, right? Once you start crossing those races, that's where I have a major problem. Right, if two countries next to each other who are virtually the same people wanna fight each other, you know what? Let them go ahead. Pakistan and India. You know what? You go off and have your flipping war, right? And then when you're ready to be sensible, come back into the real world, right? But once you start crossing those races, because I can see it could be quite easy, right, to murder someone, yeah, who is not the same, who's not the same as you, because you can dehumanize someone who's a different race to you and all these type of things. I understand how that can happen to people, right? So that is my main beef, right, with what is going on in Israel and Palestine, right? And if these guys was armed the same, then you know what I'd say. Let them get on with it, right? If they was armed the same, if they both had the same weapons, right? Then I say let them get on with it. Right, but you cannot be in a situation, yeah, where you've got Barry McGuigan. I know it's an old time. I don't know where I brought that one from. Right, fighting with Anthony Joshua. It would be ridiculous. It would be completely ridiculous. Right, so that is the situation. Right, that is my beef. Right, with Israel, they wield the bigger stick. Right, they're much more powerful than the Palestinians, right? And they are taking the absolute piss, and they've been doing it for like 9 or 80 years, right? And somebody somewhere along the line, right, has got to say, you know what, this has got to stop. It's got to stop, right? You guys have to come up with your two-state solution. That's it. That is it, right? Because I said to everyone, I ask everyone the same question, right? Right now. Right, who would you rather be, right? An Israeli or a Palestinian, right? Because I'd be saying, you know what? Just sign me up for the Hebrew. That's what I'd be saying, right? If I was getting ready to come out of mother, and I had the choice, right? And they said, oh well, for you, it's going to be either Israel or Palestine. Okay, I say, okay, well, sign me up for some Hebrew. Okay, forget the Muslim business. I ain't going there, right? And right, I don't know if you've seen the story of the man who has had a pig's heart inserted into his chest. I think they've taken out his human heart, and they've given it. I mean, this is some next level. This is some next level surgery, isn't it? I mean, this is like, I mean, he's still alive, and it's been I think 4 or 5 days now, and he's still alive, right? And they said things are looking really well. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, the question is, yeah, can he still eat bacon? Or can he have like a sausage? Or would that be like cannibalism? Right? No, honestly, would that be like cannibalism? If they start inserting pig's hearts into us, right? And I know that my Jewish brothers and my Muslim brothers and sisters and my Muslim sisters, right? My Jewish sisters, I mean, right? I know that you ain't having no pig's heart, right, inserted into you, right? But what about if she answers at death's door and you're just like, and the doctor say, listen, it's either this pig's heart, right, or you go and meet the big wizard in the sky. What are you gonna do? Because me, I'll be a one pig's heart motherfucker, right? It's like, you know what? Sign me up, right, for the pork chop right in my heart, right? You're joking, right? Now, we're at, you know that Edward Arger MP, right, was out this morning doing the rounds, right, because obviously we've got Partygate again, right? Whoever's doing these leaks, yeah, he's just doing these on just perfect timing, isn't it? Because like a lot of people said, well, this is started still in 2 years ago, right? No one cares about this. I said, well, but it was covered up. It's all been covered up for nearly 2 years. Right, we've just found out. But the good thing was, right, that Boris Johnson lied about this last week. So So the story is quite relevant, right? So what's happened now is we've had what's his name? We've had a party, right, in Downing Street, right, arranged by Boris Johnson's one of Boris Johnson's personal aides, Martin Reynolds, right, has sent an invitation out to 100 people. I think it was a really hot day in May last year, right? But sent an invitation out to 100 people. 100 people, right? Well, you sent a party information out, and we know it was a party because they said bring a bottle or your own booze. So whichever way you look at it, we know that that's a party because we've discussed that before, and that was one of the criteria for a party was bring your own bottle. Right? Bring a bottle, bring a couple of cans of lager, maybe a crate of lager. Right? So that was the criteria for that. Right? So Boris Johnson was asked about this party yesterday. He was asked whether he attended this party, right? And now I'll be straight with you, right? I've had this myself before, right? Where when you wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, I know I've been somewhere, but I don't know where I was last night, right? So Boris Johnson, right, has said that there's a, I think was it Baroness Susanna Gray, right? She is investigating the whole party scene. We're having a party down in Downing Street. She's the one who's doing all the investigations, right? Because remember the last guy who was doing it, yeah, he got found out that he was actually keeping some parties himself, right? So obviously he had to go. Right, which is the next thing that's going to happen to Martin Reynolds, because Martin Reynolds' ass is just about to be thrown under the bus. Because for some reason, right, I don't understand how these people that attach themselves to people like Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, right? Because when you attach yourself to these people, your career is stained. Your career is always stained. It's stained for good all the time. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you think, right, Cummins, who is going to employ Dominic Cummins? I don't think you get a job in McDonald's. They'd be like, yeah, no, we think you might cause a bit of trouble. No, we've seen your reputation, mate. Do you know what I mean? So all these people, right? So and look what he's just done to Lord Gype. He's just made Lord Gype look like an absolute idiot. Brownlow's a fool. Do you know what I mean? Right? So all these people, right? And some of these people used to work. A lot of these guys used to work for the Queen. Right, and they're civil servants, right? Civil servants for 20, 30 years, right? And have never ever come across a politician like Boris Johnson. None of them have, right? So you see, Lord Gype was made to look like an absolute idiot, right? And he's going to do the same thing, right, to Baroness Gray. It's going to be the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Because she's going to have to go with the bullshit. Do you know what I mean? She's going to have to go with it. Do you know what I mean? Because this is what they've all gone with it. Look, Lord Gype, yeah. He, the text messages, the WhatsApp messages, right? Boris Johnson basically saying what he's been accused of, and Lord Gype's like, yeah, but you think no, and he's just cleared him. But that's what's happened to him for his whole life. Do you know what I mean? People have just made excuses for him his whole life. Do you know what I mean? So Boris Johnson does not know whether or not he attended the party that was arranged by Martin Reynolds for 100 people to turn up, and 40 turned up. And you think to yourself, what kind of foolishness is that? But 60 people must have said, well, you know something, yeah? It's against the rules. We're not supposed to be doing this. Right? But you think, well, and now the police have got in contact with the one of the Prime Minister's offices to obviously to start investigating. And say, well, what kind of foolishness is that? Why don't you just speak to the police officers that's at the gate, right, and the one that's at the ones that's at the door? Because let me tell you, right, you've got 40 people, right, turning up to Downing Street on a nice summer's evening, right, to have a party in the garden, right, all with clinking bottles. You do know, right, that the police would have known they would have known, right, every bottle, right, of alcohol that has been brought in there, right? They would know, because you can't get into Downing Street without a search, right? Maybe if maybe politicians can. And and if you turn up there with if you turn up there with the Prime Minister, so you're one of his advisors and something like that, then you can. You know what I mean? Or maybe Carrie, right? But and the Queen. But I don't. Is the Queen allowed in Downing Street? I'm not sure if she is, actually, right? But but you can't turn up to Downing Street and just walk straight in there. No way. I mean, how the hell would you do? How the hell could you do that? You could never do that. You can't just walk straight in there. They wouldn't allow you to do that, because they don't know what's happened in your personal life, right? An hour ago. Your wife and kids could be kidnapped, and they could say to you, right, listen, you know what? You take this gun in there and shoot the Prime Minister, right? So the police can't take no chances with you. Can't take no chances with anybody. Right? There's very, very, very few people who can get into Downing Street, right, without the police knowing exactly what you got on you, right? And I would suspect, yeah, that they've probably got a wand as well, so they don't actually have to search a person, but they can make sure that you're not going in there with no serious weapons. Right? Unless you can, get yourself hold of a porcelain gun, right? Which that's that's some real sophisticated shit, right? But seriously, the police, there's no way you could go into Downing Street without the police knowing exactly who's going in and exactly what's in those bags that you're carrying. You could have a fucking zombie knife in there for all they know. You could want to run the Prime Minister through. Right? So they can't take no chances with that. So they wouldn't. Right? So Sue Gray, Baroness Sue Gray, yeah, I believe, yeah, is going to be made to look like an absolute idiot over this situation. Right? And they're all talking about, oh, Baroness Sue Gray, she's very competent and she's straight and they'll never get one past her. Right? Well, the next thing we might hear, oh, she might have been invited to one of the parties too. But if I had a party, yeah, and I sent out 100 invitations and 40 people turned up, right? In fact, that wouldn't happen, right? Because at least 92 people's turned up if I sent out an invitation for 100 people. 92, right? And something, the other 8, right? Something serious has happened to them for them not to be able to attend. But seriously, that's how these guys stay. I mean, they're just having their parties up in there, and they couldn't give a fuck about anything else. Right? That's it, done. Now, OVO Energy. Now, I really wouldn't know where to go with this, because you think to yourself, well, have you got advisors, or have you got in OVO Energy? Yeah, have you got one person, right, that has got just one small bit of sense, right, in their extremely, because these guys' skulls, yeah, must be thick. I think, yeah, that you could probably take a breeze block, right, and I'm talking about a heavy weighted breeze block, not one of those light things, a proper heavy weighted one, and I think you could smash these guys in the head, right, and that breeze block will just break. And I think you could probably do that with a brick. Right? And an iron bar would probably bend. These guys' skulls are so thick. Right? These guys must be some of the thickest people in the... These guys, yeah, they you know what they are? They're Brexiters. That's what they are. They're Brexiters. In fact, right, I would say there's people in OVO, right, that have probably tried to take knives into a Crown Court. That's the level of stupid at OVO. They know that you're going through a really hard time, and their idea, right, that they have come up with is to keep warm. Eat more porridge. That's if you could probably afford porridge, but eat more porridge. They had the cheek to come out and say that. But I mean, that's not... They couldn't stop it there. They couldn't... Someone, you know something, yeah? What everybody in life needs, yeah, is a Wally alarm. Someone to just say to you, mate, you've been a bit of a Wally. Because their next suggestion was star jumps. So are you going to be paying out shareholders, yeah, in the billions of pounds that you take in profits? And you're telling people to do star jumps. How old do you have to be? Is there an age limit? Right. If you're 101, are they going to say, well, no, maybe not you? Or if you're 94, maybe not you. 85, maybe not you. Star jumps. But no, they couldn't stop there. Why stop when you're on a roll? Cuddle a pet. A dog or a cat. Maybe a gerbil. Don't be cuddling the goldfish. Right? Because you're warm motherfucking blooded. Right? So don't be holding the goldfish and cuddling it. I'm going to get myself an orangutan. My favourite primate. Right? I'm going to cuddle the orangutan. Cuddle your pet. What happens if you ain't got a pet? Oh, just nick next door's cat. You know cats always go missing, innit? And most cats have got 2 or 3 homes anyway. So now, oh well. Would you get time to be cuddling the pet? If the cat's got 2 or 3 homes, the cat's getting a lot of cuddles. You know, the cat's going to be working hard. Right? And they didn't stop there. Cuddle your loved one more. Well, what if you hate the motherfucker? Right? You're sitting there and you think, yeah, you know, women are sitting there thinking, I hate you. I hate everything about you. You think I will freeze to motherfucking death before I cuddle you, motherfucker. That's what women are saying. Cuddle. Seriously. But that's OVO. You know what that is? That is, right, your right-wing capitalist society where they just think to yourself, you know what? Let's make a massive joke. Let's make a whole joke about the whole thing. So, let's speak about some Brexit because all that's very depressing. I know Brexit's depressing, but you know what? I mean, well, this says 26 minutes already. Do you know what I mean? So, and I've got so much to speak about as well. Right? I'm not going to get through all this. Right? So, Liz Truss. Right? We started with Liz Truss needs to play hardball with the EU. And then the next day was the EU not impressed with Liz Truss' stance over the Northern Ireland Protocol. Right? And then we've got, right, the EU will not be seduced. So the EU slaps down Liz Truss, masterstroke, hours before the meeting. I believe that's today. Hours before the talks, they just slapped it down. Because, you know, the thing is, yeah, you know, Liz Truss is just coming out with all the same nonsense. Do you know what I mean? And like, you think to yourself, seriously, have you not actually learned anything over the last you're going on 2 years now, you haven't actually learned anything. Right? You know, we've left the EU and you still, right, even before we left the EU, you should have known all of this. Because the EU, yeah, have just stayed rigid all the way. They haven't flinched with anything. Right? They've just said these are our rules, and they haven't flinched with anything. And these guys are still trying to somehow get something. You think to yourself, come on, man, just be serious. Do you know what I mean? You know, just be serious, right? But no, they can't. Right? This is the thing. They can't. Do you know what I mean? It's just all complete and utter nonsense what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Just utter shambles. And now Liz Truss is just going to be there just making a complete fool of herself as well. But you know, this is what happens when you put people who just haven't got a clue, right? Haven't got a clue about what they're doing, right? You know, just haven't got a clue what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? The Indian deal, right? The Indian trade deal, right, is going to really, that's going to really set the cat amongst the pigeons. Right. That's going to really, really shake things up. You know what I mean? Because these people are going to realise what they've really signed up for, right? When they've got plane loads of Indians coming to the country. They're going to realise. And you know something, yeah? I am going to finish on a high point because we have a Brexit bonus. That's right. Hold on a minute. Just let me check. I want people knowing, yeah, that I'm spreading the government's message, right, for Brexit bonuses. So we've got like Virgin Media, right, and O2, owned by the same company, right, are not going to reintroduce roaming charges. But I'm pissed, obviously, because I'm not one of their customers. So, but no, that's a, that is a genuine Brexit bonus, giving us what we had before. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm GMC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.